Welcome back to Actorspokee. Can't wait to hear everybody's thoughts on that crazy piece of drug-filled vampire attack shenanigans. I'm gonna have everybody. Let's go around the table. Let's have people tell us who they are and what they did on this episode. I'm gonna start with the person who is directly next to me on the screen. So that's Mike Boozer.
Hi, I'm Mike Boozer. I'm the dungeon master for this series, and that's what I'm doing.
Excellent. What about you, Steve?
I'm Steve Connard. Let's see, I convert RPGs into story, I suppose. I don't know.
Yes, that is what you did. You wrote that.
Yeah, I mean, I had base material that turned into that. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. And Tanel.
Hi, I'm Tanel Lovett. I'm the artist of World of Chaldea and the Gen Con TV art director. So I do a lot of things for World of Chaldea, where ACTOROKE takes place. ACTOROKE has been taking place in Graver's Dig and the World Necropolis, where all these zombies are. And so a lot of the art you saw in the movie is all me.
Awesome. And then we have two halves of our wizard character, Archibald. So first we're going to start with our role player, Rennie. Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Rennie, and I bring the antics.
That was very succinct. I appreciate that. Oh, there was a little.
The guest appearance too.
That was one of the
Ghost?
antics.
I saw a ghost.
It's wild. And hopping over to Andy. What do you do?
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Rennie. My name is Andy Doporowski. I am an actor kind of guy, and I play Archibald the Fuzzy versus Archibald the Bald.
Archibald.
Yeah. Archibuzz.
Archibald.
So, what is it like to see the other half of yourself controlling Archibald? Like, Rennie, when you watch Andy portraying what you are doing at the table, like, what is that like for you?
You know, when we started this process out, we were given images of the various talent in garb to help us come up with who those characters could be. So, for me, versus the first season where I was acting somebody else's thing, in this particular case, I saw what Andy was doing or what Andy was bringing, and then I sort of interpreted that. So it's in some ways I'm channeling a little bit of I was going to say foie gras of Andy, but that's not the right word. The je ne sais quoi of Andy.
I think you got it right the first time. I think it's the foie gras of Andy.
So yeah.
Look, I have a fatty liver.
We're gonna lob that. I was gonna say softball, but I don't think it's a softball. I'm not sure what it was, but he lobbed it at you pretty hard, Andy. What is it like for you? Do you watch the RPG episodes?
So for me, Rennie has produced stuff I've worked on a lot, so I'm used to ruining everything he does. So for me, no, I don't watch the RP episodes, primarily because I don't want to come in with any sort of pre-expectation about the shoot. For me, it's about working with the other actors, particularly Dylan and my characters tend to play off each other a lot. So I like to come in kind of fresh and not really have any of that, no offense, Rennie, any of that RP baggage.
You know, though, I think it's fair because by the time it gets to you, it goes through the Steve filter. And there's an adaptation. So even the nature of the things that we might bring to the table have to sort of, have to go through this, whatever you want to call it, the Steve filter, the sausage grinder, whatever, to come out with something specific that is more, cohesive in telling this overall tale.
I think you might want to check with Steve before you nickname him the sausage grinder. Just putting that out there.
Yikes. Well, let's talk about the Steve filter. Steve, you took what happened, all those shenanigans, and this is what came out of it. So how was that process for you?
Well, okay, so I mean, anybody who's played D&D or any role playing game knows it stretches on for hours. So we try to bring it down to 2.5 hours or whatever. But then I have to take it and bring it down to Peter has a page count limit of 26 or 27. We have this ongoing debate whether or not the title page counts. As the writer, I'm always like, it doesn't count, but he's like, it does count.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, you have to get it down to like what do you cut out and what matters, and that's always a bit of a challenge. I mean, this particular episode, I mean, the zombies were just, I mean, too much to. I mean,
so good.
We really went for it. I mean, some of the stuff I always try to put direct RPG comments. I don't know if Rennie, if you noticed, some of your comments were literally just the whole trying to get the shovel to work thing is verbatim what you said during the RPG. Like dig,
Yep.
destroy the zombies.
Well, it's funny you should say that because like every week when there's something happening, I'll wait for that line that I was really proud of during the RPG session, waiting for you to throw it in. And every week I always get one of those lines like, "Oh yes, you got it."
So Mike, what is it like for you to see the transition from the mess and madness that your players bring to the table?
I usually cry for about a few hours, and I call Steve, and then no, it's great. I think what I really appreciate about it is that it's the creative process of just doing the RPG and just going with the flow, and then things just happen. The zombies were not planned. They just started to come out of my mouth as groovy deadhead zombies, and they just started to, a vicious mockery was cast in it, and the things were said, and it's like, oh man, that's cool. So I just started going with that, and so it's really great to see all of that translate. I mean, I don't have any illusions. A lot of stuff has to be cut. A lot of stuff doesn't work. I'm just glad that we get kernels of stuff that we can put back in that actually come shine through. This episode was really short, RPG session, but we really felt like it was chock full of stuff. So we're really happy about that. But I love the way Steve interprets and comes up with stuff after. It's like they're like, well, then Steve and I have conversations too. And sometimes I'll go, oh, I forgot about that. So he just puts it in the script anyway.
Cool. And Snell, you did a lot of art for this one, yeah?
Yeah.
Like more art than normal, or?
Yeah, about 2 to 3 times as much.
Cool.
I think the most previous to this was maybe like 16 pieces, and this was like 26 pieces.
Wow.
Not to mention each hand-drawn kind of like stop motion spell cast that Molly did, or like the dance she did. Yeah, it was a lot. And I think what was really fun for me drawing this out was that I was there the whole time. Like I was there when this was like happening in the RPG with Mike, and he was just kind of like, he got in a groove, but like being there when it was like birthed and just like just a little seed, and then it kind of grew and the whole table got into it, and seeing Steve write that, I mean, that was just it just grew and grew, and then having the opportunity to like expand on that with art.
Yeah,
it was like, yes, this is the time. Like if we were gonna do a sequence with art, hippie zombies, that is the moment.
That feels like it. Yeah. And I know that Peter likes to find out what everybody's favorite moment was during the episode. So I'm going to start with you, Tanel. Was there like a favorite piece of art or a moment that you really loved doing?
I think there was 2 moments that are my favorite. Artistically speaking, Molly hula hooping, dancing, was like, that's kind of like one of my pride and joy, because I got to draw 2 very different poses that meshed really well and made a movement, and recording that as a video that Peter could just be like, yeah, grab, and like, this is it. And then the really fun moment for me was the change in tone of the whole movie when Steve did the effects of the zombies kind of shadowed and the smoke in front of them, and just the music is like, whoa, what is what? Like the shift in tone artistically overall, that was such a good moment, because in my mind for a long time I was like, how are you even going to transition to all these drawings of hippie zombies? Like, how does that transition even go smoothly? And I think Steve nailed it.
Yeah. Andy, did you have a moment that you really loved acting? Did you feel like something, you were able to get into something?
I mean, obviously the hippie zombies, right? Like, the thing about acting stone, man, is you just gotta pretend that you're straight, right?
Yeah.
Good Nyborg. No, just doing the whole hippie zombie thing was a lot of fun. Being one of the more blessed in years members of the cast. It was, I listened to tons of Cheech and Chong, way younger than I ever should have and stuff. So it was just it was really fun, like seeing all of the references to like Up in Smoke and all this stuff in the script. Plus playing off of Dylan's a lot of fun, playing off Van's a lot of fun. And as soon as you start doing, Stone voice, everybody kind of gets silly. That was great. That was definitely my favorite part.
Which zombie were you? Sorry, question.
Oh, I was Orville.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like it was just groovy, man. It was cool.
I mean, I know it's in the credits, but one of the things Peter said was, I said to him, well, who's going to voice the zombies? And then Peter's like, we should just get our main cast to do it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great. I don't know if people realize that. So people were doing double duty as our heroes, and then at the same time playing the zombies. I mean, they're all zombies at this point, but anyway. I thought, by the way, I thought it was pretty funny. I went back and rewatched a whole bunch of, you mentioned Nyborg. Yeah, I watched Heavy Metal, that whole sequence.
Yes.
I wanted to really work that whole, it's a little profane. We try to do a PG family friendly thing, and we do drop one. You seem to be the one who gets to drop the F-bomb occasionally. Anyway, I love that the good Nyborg, man. Anyway, I watched some Cheech and Chong. I mean, it was just fun going back, and I mean, like you and I are probably same vintage, I guess. So I went back and watched a lot of the, like you said, Cheech and Chong, and some of the funnier Up in Smoke. One of the lines was from Purple Haze. The Purple Haze smoke was all purple. The one guy who says, I don't know if I should be happy or in misery. That's a line from Purple Haze. Anyway.
Yep. That
so
was great.
I'm assuming that your favorite part of this episode to write, Steve, was the zombies.
Oh my God, it was amazing. Of course, the whole time I was in fear, because like we always were in fear of how do you do combat, because the way we do Actoroke, we don't actually film, action. We can't. It's our style. We can't really do it. So anyway, Peter's like, we should do a lot of art, which fell on Tanil, obviously, to do. But yes, I really enjoyed that a lot. I enjoyed figuring out how to do the Thanos snap, turn the zombies into to dust.
Yeah.
So that was fun. I liked how they all died and faded away.
Rennie, what was your moment that you had been waiting for this episode?
Well, yeah. First, I wanted to say that when in our this last session, they put a monitor at the foot of our table so we could see Tanel doing artwork, which was a very, very cool experience, because she comes prepared with a few things, and we get to see that work. But when the zombies appeared, she immediately pivoted and started doing these really quick caricatures of the zombies wearing the name tags. Mm-hmm. Just this really fun moment. And I think how the energy sort of pivoted for us when we were playing this was, we encountered these zombies after Orthy Vob and the vampire all doing their thing. We encountered these zombies, and then Cass, played by Bryce Bebop, decides to cast Vicious Mockery. And so Cass, being a great role player that he is, comes in and just starts being vicious with his mockery at these zombies, to which Boozer then goes, dude, why are you harshing on me so? He just pivoted. Like,
why are you juicing on me?
Yeah,
does
Why are
that
you
mean?
juicing on me? Yeah.
Why are you juicing on me? He just like pivoted into this thing. Like it was just from out of nowhere. And suddenly I think that those of you who play in these role-playing sessions and any at the table, when you can encounter that moment that the energy just pivots and everybody can jump into that moment and go, oh, this is it. This is that special thing where we're going to just run with it. That's what happened. And I think that's what made it so much fun and so special was literally that pivot by Bryce and then Boozer coming in. And I think that was for me the most special moment there.
Awesome. What about you, Boozer? What's your favorite moment of this film?
It's still the zombies.
Back to the zombies. Yeah.
And Rennie's right. It's like, for me, it feels like it was it was just so cool that once we were laughing so hard at the table while we're juicing on the zombies, and I was just gonna have them attack. It was gonna be some zombies. They were gonna attack, and it was gonna be boring. As just zombie attack. Oh no!
Yeah.
Okay. But once we got into the back and forth and the comments, and it was so much fun. It's one of the more interesting combats I've actually ever had ever. It's like everyone's talking, and usually it's like I attack them, and oh no, and they don't have little pithy comments, but these zombies had something to say all the time. So it's great, lots of fun.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So I mentioned before the film that this is the penultimate episode of the season. Do we have any sneak peeks for next one?
Well, it's unclear as somebody who has no idea where this is going, because that's up to
yeah, none.
But I mean, we don't know what happened between Rykalikis and Orthivob. By the way, I have to say, Susanna Burney does an amazing job as the witch.
Absolutely.
Yes,
I mean, she is amazing.
Epic.
Yes.
Her maniacal laughter. I mean, like that's top shelf. I mean, some people do it. And it's like sort of cheesy, and the way she does it, like, I mean, she's amazing.
Yeah,
anyway,
it's great.
We don't know what happened between those two. That's also one of the big issues that's still out there. I guess Archibald, you have the skull, apparently.
Yeah, which was that was their main quest, right? Is to get the skull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And originally it was to return it to Orthivob, but then we decided instead of taking it to Orthivob to take it to the person on the other side of the wall, Tenacious. Because Tenacious had promised
Jesse Keeter.
Jesse Keeter promised us life, basically to return us back to life if we got that. So we decided that we're going to turn on Orthivob and return us to Tenacious.
I'm betting that there will be like no repercussions for that
None at
all.
Well,
impossible.
By the way, the elephant in the room for this character, the two of you, is so Archibald's walking around with a shovel on his arm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
a
permanently.
shovel on my arm.
Is he going to go home with that? Like a date, or is he going to get his life back? And who knows? I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know.
We didn't keep the hand.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You didn't keep the hand. So if
by the way, just an FYI,
we did.
I actually did an animated hand bit. We didn't get it in. You left the hand behind, but remember the Addams Family
Thing,
yeah. We actually did that. It didn't. Our special effects are pretty cheesy. Let's be honest, but this was even not up to our level of cheese. I'm like, okay. We can't use it. But anyway, we wanted to cut back to the hand. It's still running around in the cemetery somewhere.
And that's the loose end that I kind of want to know is like, okay, Archibald, if you get to be alive again, does that mean that like you have a stump? Like,
well, there was this running gag, I think, during the RPG session where I forget one of the two the fire to Dreadfish one would keep on touching me with the hand. I think that was the running gag. Like I was like, hey, can I give you a hand? And it was these running bits that were just over the top. But yeah, so I think when we talked to Tenacious, we the understanding was I would get my hand back.
Okay.
That was the understanding. But of course,
That was heavily implied when he was when he was telling us to cut it off.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm saying is, you cut a planarian in half, you get 2 new planarians. Magic is weird.
Maybe there's a
Putting
second Archibald,
Putting that out in the universe.
like a starfish.
Yeah,
really
he wouldn't
like
have any
this.
memories. He'd just be a giant old naked man running around not knowing anything.
I love the idea that the that's what happens to the hand, and you're just left with a stump, but like Captain Hook style, you have the shovel that you can just be like, well, it's digging time.
Here we go.
Well, I can say that some of the things you've said are pretty on track, and then
All right.
they go off the track. So we'll see.
Well, I did have a couple things that Peter wanted to tell you guys, Rennie, Archibald. Sorry, I can only say Archibald. I can't say Andy because that's just I draw you all the time. It's like
That's
Archibald.
fine.
But Peter did really want you to know that what he loves about working with you, Andy, is that you always seem to know exactly what's going through his mind as a director, and that you can like cut him off and be like, yeah, no, stop, I got this.
Nice.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
He says it saves him time.
It saves all of us time. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
No, and I love it too. It's like if we weren't in a 900-degree hot box,
Yeah.
I would definitely want to hear, the 500 years of history that led up to this decision. And I will eventually find all this out, because I do love talking to Peter about the world of Chaldea. I got the title in.
Bring it back.
But when we're acting, everything has to be super fast. So having actors who can kind of anticipate what Peter's going to ask for, I think everybody actually does very well.
Agreed.
We have some issues with Bahati's not retaining previous filming experiences on account of recasting, but everybody this time around, Amber Wolf's worked with us before, so she was right in the flow of things. So it goes really well, and I think that the actors definitely know kind of what Peter's laying down, and we all have a general idea kind of what his world means to us, or how it impacts us. So it's great, because he'll get the twinkle in his eye, the Peter twinkle, and he'll be like, you're gonna do this, and it's just like, all you want to do is show this person what he just thought of, because you can tell that what was in his head, you're never going to be able to reach it because it was awesome, but you immediately want to just give him whatever sparked that smile behind his eyes. So it's and the more we play together, the better we get at it too, as a group. So,
well, speaking of that, I mean, you are an amazing half Minotaur, and you're a great warlock. So I'm hoping you enjoy what you're doing, and you'll want to come back, for whatever craziness we do in the future. It just seems to be getting a little more and more out of control all the time. So I don't know if you.
What in the world will Andy be next? That is the question.
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm wondering, I would like to know from both halves of Archibald what their hopes are for the final episode for their character.
As an actor, I just want it to go off the rails.
You have your marching orders, Rennie. Go off the rails.
When we started this, part of Archibald's backstory was this epic behind-the-scenes tale where his family for 1,000 years had been trying to undermine a lot of what was going on in the world, because they worshipped this elder dragon that had left Chaldea, trying to bring the dragon back. And so I love that that actually was brought into the story last episode. And I know it's going to be very difficult to wrap that up at the end there, but certainly to weave Archibald into the fabric of Chaldea moving forward be one.
I like that.
Love that.
You know, it's funny. The adventuring party, there's four people in it, right? And they're all crucial. But for some reason, it feels like Archibald has sort of moved ahead. Like he's the one with the shovel. It's one carrying the skull. I mean, he seems to be the one that's, you know.
He can never leave.
In Agile, we would say Archibald is a pig because when it comes to breakfast, he's invested.
Invested.
That's right.
A chicken visits, a pig is invested.
True.
I'd like to do a shout out to Marcus and Sarah for their great interpretations of the vampire and the sword. The sword, Sarah and I talked about a magic sword that talked before we even started. So that kernel was planted, and the vampire is great, just great.
Yeah. Marcus is over the top as that vampire in the most delightful way.
I just loved seeing Marcus like stalk out of the smoke in the shorts.
That's just how he moves. That's just how he moves.
I gotta say, so Peter sent me this video sequence of just Marcus doing combat maneuvers in front of a green screen, and I was on the floor laughing. I was just like, oh my God, I want to be able to do so much with all this, but it would just be Marcus literally just throwing spells. So I had to take a few, but there's this one bit, maybe it'll show up. He was like throwing spells and he kept correcting his hair, and I just couldn't figure out how to get it, but it was just so funny. He was like, huh.
That's wow. Oh, I want to see
Maybe
that.
we should put that in outtakes somewhere or something. It was too good.
Please.
Yes.
Please.
I'm all for outtake reels. And you know, like we'll just give Peter one more thing to do during editing week. I'm sure that he won't be upset with us at all. I'm sure it'll be great. Just also do a blooper reel, Peter.
There's now, in fairness, plenty of fodder for that. Plenty of fodder.
We heard it from the source.
I would, well, unfortunately, too much of the source. So I'll learn my lines one day. I just don't have to for ACTOROKE. I also do want to thank, like, our guest stars this season have been so cool. It's been great having. I mean, I am very partial to people who I love and work with outside of like this. So having Jesse and Scott was amazing, of course.
Yeah.
But just everybody, all of our guest stars were just awesome.
Yeah, we've been gathering good folk.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the weirdness that Boozer comes up with in the last episode that we then have to cast and have. I mean, we had hippies this episode. I wonder what time period we're going for next time. It's going to be Roaring 20s gangsters, perhaps.
Oh, I would love to draw that. I would love to draw that.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of dance fights that we're not having.
A lot of dance fights. We're primed and ready for these dance fights.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question to both Rennie and Andy / Archibald? I did it. I did Andy first this time. Are you proud of me?
I did it.
So, I don't know if you've seen all of the art because I've gotten to draw you. And first of all, I love drawing your hair. I love drawing your majestic mane because it just adds like so much motion to what I can do within a scene. Like in particular, I'm thinking about when you were like digging and like being jerked around by the shovel, and I just had like half your body going one way and your hair going the other way.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
Is there a piece of art that of you, whether it was this season or last, that you were really were like that captured what I was trying to capture when acting?
Yes, it was 100%. It was last season. It was the Minotaur, the sort of like eyebrow raised. That was just awesome. I loved that so much.
Like when he's peeking in the tent. Yeah.
Okay.
I know what you're thinking. I know what you're talking about.
Just in general, I think Helios, because so much of that was facial. Like a lot of that was facial. The hat makes the facial a little facial acting a little harder this round,
Mhm.
but that was all like, I've got stuff in my nose and everything
Oh yeah,
draws
you had
attention to my
so
face.
much on your face. Yeah.
But all of the art caught, well, I hope that I captured like a quarter of what the art caught, because the art is amazing.
Thank you.
And I love Helios. I love the Helios artwork. It's sorry, Archibald. I love Helios.
Yeah, my favorite bit with him is him with the Anumian spirits. Oh my god, that's so epic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So.
Well, I've always wondered, most role players love, when you're role playing, you imagine yourself whatever in the mind of your character, or the way they visual. I mean, it must be interesting to see yourself drawn, right? Like,
yes.
I mean, I don't know what sort of like experience that is to see yourself come to life in art.
I mean, I've had a few of my characters from the past be drawn by people. There's an artist, Jacob Blackmone, who does a lot of stuff with Zombie Orpheus, so he's drawn a few of my characters, and a few other folks have drawn some of them. There is something about, and I'm not good enough with art styles. Is this all digital, or is this like legitimate, like on paper?
It's both.
It's both?
I draw because I draw live during the RPG, and so I will scan that in and like either finish it digitally, or like, I try to match that live draw style. You can always kind of tell when it's digital, but it's almost like that. If I try to envision, like if I was an artist in the campaign with you guys on the road, that sketch art action of just like, oh man, that just happened. I am drawing that in a news article this week.
I love charcoal chalk. I love like chiaroscuro style, black, white, high contrast art. Yeah. So that's my favorite stuff, is all the stuff that comes out that's black and white with chalk and charcoal. It's always just so mind-bogglingly good. So great. Thank you so much. It's awesome.
Thank you.
And I've never had anything drawn. I've never had a picture of myself drawn in that style ever. So this is, every week there's something cool that I'm like, oh, this is great. Now I've got to murder Peter and steal it all.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I kind of wanted to offer that kind of same question to Rennie, where it's like, as a player, I'm just being greedy right now because I'm here and I get to ask you guys about the art. But like, Rennie, with the art, is there a moment that you felt like I embodied artistically what you were kind of going for in that RPG moment? Like, is there anything that comes to mind? Because you've been with us a few times from the beginning.
Well, I can't say that. For one thing, Andy is a really good subject for you to draw, and for whatever reason, you capture Andy really well. And one of the things I've noticed that you do very, very well is you capture action. You capture a moment that is in time that's happening. And so, whether it be one of the very first images where Andy is as Archibald's like standing back doing sort of this back thing. There was that one it was the early sort of undeadish type of thing, until later when they became more serious and much more just Archibald in action. I just think that you have, as you've discovered the character, you've been even more progressively effective in capturing them in reality. I think that's one of the things Andy is also talking to when talking about Helios, right? Is that at the very beginning, Helios is maybe more of a caricature, but by the end, there's just so much more to that character that Andy's brought and that you bring. And I think that's the one thing that I'm enjoying watching is sort of that organic growth as you hit it. Like, I'm a little envious, to be honest with you, because I think that you've had a lot of time to be able to create some really cool images with Archibald. And I think, man, I didn't get this with Armando.
So, Armando is coming back for the Christmas special, right?
True, he
Well,
is.
this is an interesting
Thanks.
point. So, but I just think you've done a fantastic job. And although I can't say this one stands out, what does stand out is just how amazing that growth has been, and how truthful each one of those images are. And I think that's really,
Oh,
really
thank
impressive.
you.
My favorite thing, legitimately, and I know that like this isn't just blowing smoke, okay? Because you are a fantastic artist. My favorite thing is there's only so far a Halloween spirit store set of horns can go, but in the artwork, it really comes to life. In the artwork, it's like what is a beautiful portrait of this person as they exist in an imagined reality, and there's no way to get that outside of the artwork,
Yeah.
based on how he. So I love it so much. It's so great.
I think Steve will catch up. His effects will level up.
Oh
Yeah,
my
we're
God,
getting
Eventually,
there.
he'll have
please.
like a flaming
We're getting better
Archibald.
every time.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, thank
I
you
was gonna have to
so
remind
much.
everybody, we do this entire damn thing in like what, 5 days?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah.
very quick. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have
Um,
time to look back.
Well, I think that's the thing though, is like you talk about how it's grown, and like I think we've all grown. Like every
Mhm.
person who kind of keeps coming back, like everyone's kind of growing and getting better and understanding and finessing how to do this and how to make it, like you said, Rennie, like not just a caricature, making it a person with these experiences in the world of Chaldea.
And the
which
effects
is
are
an
incredible.
it's an excellent segue here for us all to tell the people at home where we can be found on the internet should they want to see more of everybody's stuff. I'm going to start with Andy. Where can we find you?
Nope.
Gone.
No, I'm just kidding.
God.
I'm kidding. I am YLF Andy on pretty much everything, Twitter, etc. And then right now, I've got a project in the works in post called Liberty Cabbage, which you can find via libcabbage, Lib cabbage, on again everything. That'll have some familiar faces, very likely from other Chaldea projects and other projects that folks might be familiar with. Yeah, that's what I got.
Great. And what about you, Mike?
I can't be found. I'm a witness protection program, so
Whoa. Well, we should not have put your full name up
Whoa.
on the internet
Whoops.
then.
yeah, that's
That.
not my real name. So
Oh, woof.
it's okay.
Phew.
No, I can't. I don't have a handle. I'm not cool like everyone else.
Wow. Good to know. Tanel?
Well, you can find a lot of art by yours truly at worldofchaldea.com. There's a Chaldeapedia, there's maps, there's an atlas, and there's all the series of Actoroke. So if you stay tuned for Actoroke, or if you want to dive into the world of Chaldea where Actoroke takes place, it's all there. It's a giant website that Steve has been putting together, and it's beautiful, and it has a lot of the work where all this art that we're talking about, it's there. You can go see it. And you can go to past series and see exactly what we're talking about.
Rennie?
Yeah, it's sort of difficult to find me in an interesting way, but you can certainly follow zombieorpheus.com, where there's a lot of amazing stuff that's coming out of that. New streaming entertainment, games, movies coming up, lots of cool stuff. So please check out zombieorpheus.com.
Steve, I know that you are also of the recluse variety, but where can we find you?
Well, I'm World of Chaldea 24/7.
24/7.
You can go there. You can find my email address if you want to reach out and say, hey, you suck. That's
Wow.
fine.
All right.
I'm gonna get your credit card number one of these
We'll
days.
figure it out.
Trick you into it. Sarah
I'm
Jessica.
Yeah, sorry. I'm Sarah Moore. You can find me on the internet at Pixies and Pins, pretty much everywhere. You can go to my website, pixiesandpins.com. And every Friday, I'm right here on Gen Con TV doing Sarah's Table. And this week, we hashtag joyful gaming. This Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, we are playing a game called Once Upon a Crime, which is a one-page RPG by Grant Howitt, where you play a reject fantasy creature stealing from all of the pretty fairies and elves. So come and check that out. That will be fun. Also, just reiterating, go to worldofchaldea.com, go to actoroke.com, check out World of Chaldea's presence on all of our socials. It's at World of Chaldea. We have so much stuff coming up for you. And we're going to wrap up this arc starting next week, which is the third series of Actoroke that we have been doing. And then we are letting Peter loose for a holiday special, and he is going to be DMing with the cast of the original series of Actoroke. And I can't imagine how wild it's going to get, and you're not going to want to miss it. We would like to thank Gen Con for this platform, allowing us to stream on this and to continue to share these stories in this world that Peter and Steve has built into its crazy rich history. Thank you all for coming here tonight and being a part of Actorspokee. We love hearing everyone's perspective. Thank you all at home for joining us, and do not forget to turn in next week, Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific, twitch.tv/GenConTV, or like Steve will come to your house and he will yell at you in your face.
It's true. It's true.
It's very scary.
And
It's
by the
Vicious
way,
mockery.
by the way, Peter wasn't here this week because he's at a Def Leppard concert.
I was trying to avoid spoiling it, but yes, Peter is rocking out currently at a rock concert.
He currently with the hippie zombies. He took them
With
all.
he took them with.
He
They
did.
are-
Taking the night off.
Having a grand old time.
Party on,
Like-
dudes.
Yeah.
You can't taste with your body, so why wouldn't you pour the sugar in your mouth?
I thought he was
Man.
trying to get some
Pour some sugar on me.
on him.
Exactly. Steve.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for episode 5 movie night and for Actorspokee, and we will see you next time.
Ooh.
Peace out.
Thanks all.
Yeah.